Hey man, I do what I do.
Why are you mad at Trump? All the man did was try to figure out where your money went. Okay, put some people out that was taking your jobs. And let me tell you the big one. Tell me when the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ, and the IRS have been friends of black people. Tell me when. Give me the date. Tell me when they have been great for America again. When they've been great for black America. I can't think of one. All right. When I think about the FBI, that institution, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, COINTELPRO, they targeted and destroyed black leadership. It wasn't about fighting communism. It was about ensuring that no black man or black woman would rise to challenge that white supremacist open discrimination that we were dealing with. They assassinated our leaders. I'm talking about the FBI. They sent spies to infiltrate Malcolm X's inner circle. It led to his unalivement in 1965. They got a documentary on Netflix. They put surveillance on Martin Luther King Jr. They even sent this man an unalivement letter, okay, a self-deletion letter, telling him to unalive himself before accepting the Nobel Peace Prize. This is what the FBI did. They massacred the Black Panthers in their sleep. Fred Hampton, he was drugged by an informant and then executed by a Chicago police officer in 1969 in the FBI orchestrated raid. Are they your friends? Because see, Donald Trump is going after them. Are these your friends? Donald Trump says he's going to dismantle all of them. He has sent each and every one of them a notice letter saying you can quit. Why are black people boo-hooing and crying for that? Should you be crying for that? I'm just asking, should black people be crying for that? Does it even make sense that you as black folk would be crying for that? Not to me. Yes, we need a Federal Bureau of Investigation, but not one that targets black people. And what about the Department of Justice and its enforcement of injustice for black Americans? We know darn well that white folk get arrested at a higher rate than black people, but somewhere between getting arrested and going to prison, black folks go more. So what does that tell you about the Department of Justice? You can check the FBI stats right now. I'm not talking about who gets arrested. I'm talking about who ends up in jail. They always talk about how many of us end up in prison, but that assumes that everybody who's arrested has done a crime, or everybody who's arrested has done something worthy of going to prison. And it also assumes that everybody who was let go was innocent. And that's just not true. But what is true is that the DOJ has never protected us. What the Department of Justice did was they enforced harsh sentences for black people while cutting deals for rich white criminals. Whether you like P. Diddy or not, how many freaky, weird entertainers that were white have done some of the same outlandish stuff that P. Diddy did? And they never even saw the inside of a jail cell, much less a courtroom. They won't even give this man a bail. He can't even come out. He just in prison for the last year. Think about that. Hugh Hefner did worse than that. This is the Department of Justice that Donald Trump is dismantling. Look, they created the war on drugs. Instead of stopping the CIA-backed drug trafficking in the 1980s, they filled the prisons with black men on low-level drug charges. They used mandatory minimums to destroy black families. They did that all throughout the 90s. You want to know where your daddy is? You want to know why your mama and why your son is sassy? Because his daddy was in the penitentiary. You want to know why we have such a high HIV rate in the black family? Because they locked the men up in cages for decades and centuries, decades and decades. And things happen in prison. And when they come out, they don't talk about it, but they have been infected. And they pass that around. You want to know why? That's why. And they've been knowing about it for years. You wonder why we got so much DL and rainbow stuff going on because the men went to prison and they develop an appetite for that in that penitentiary system. Up in there with all the animals, in there doing savage things to each other. Locked up because you had some crack. Locked up because you had a couple of crack rocks and now you're doing 30 years. What about these white boys that get caught with all this cocaine? And somehow it disappeared, the evidence disappeared, get lost. Look, the DOJ has never been our friend. The DOJ looked the other way on lynchings. For decades, the DOJ refused to prosecute Klan members, and they let white mobs kill us with no consequences. This is the same Department of Justice that Donald Trump is dismantling. Have they been your friend? Huh? Do you want to know why you got so many immigrants flooding the communities in your neighborhoods? The CIA went down there and destabilized all those Central American communities and stuff. And it's the same CIA that flooded our communities with crack cocaine. This isn't a conspiracy. It's documented. They funded the Nicaraguan rebels by trafficking drugs into the black communities. And that led to the crack epidemic and wiped out a whole generation. You want to know why we so dysfunctional? Why our kids run around here with their pants hanging off, with they're looking like just dead men walking? CIA did that because of the drugs. The CIA protected the cartels while black men got life sentences. They made sure kilos of cocaine made it to LA, New York, and no, none of that grow in America. Where they get it from? You know where the dope is coming from. You know how it's getting here. They don't grow dope they don't grow cocaine in New York. They don't grow it in LA. They don't grow it in Boston. They don't grow it in Atlanta. But yet you hunt down the low-level street dealers, the black men off the street. That's what the CIA did. And hell, the IRS, Lord Jesus, shut up a dime and divine. They've been stealing black folks' money forever. Nobody likes the IRS. And low key, I'm just tell you something, all them federal employees out there losing their job in DC, most Americans don't like y'all either. They thinking y'all need to get a real job anyway, like we do. Go on down there and get your job at the Piggly Wiggly. Okay? Walmart is hiring, Burger King is hiring. Yeah, all them jobs, them good government jobs that you can't never get fired from. You know, you got that lazy cousin and that lazy auntie that don't do anything. And you know she works at the government job just as incompetent as she can be, still collecting a check. We know, no. We don't feel sorry for you either, but so I'm just saying, I know we're supposed to rally behind the federal employees, but black folk don't feel sorry for that. We on the Trump train in that regard too. Somebody type Trump train. Even if you didn't vote for Trump, you like some of the stuff you see happening. But hell, the IRS, shoot, all they do is steal money from the working class Americans and let the billionaires and the corporations barely pay taxes. That's what's going on with that. They don't want to fool with these bills. They'll come after your money. Y'all's ex-president, Joe Biden, hired 80,000 new IRS agents to make sure them little cash apps that you got over $600 you paid. That's what the IRS did. That's what they were doing. We got 51 super chats. We are rolling, baby. Good looking out. They target black businesses. They audit you. They hit you with fines. And when you start building wealth, guess what? They step up and take it. That's what the IRS did. You don't think it's racial targeting going on in the IRS? You best believe it is, and we're going to find out about it. The only thing the IRS did was provide us with stress. That's what IRS stress. Now that Trump is gutting them, I'm saying good riddance. Pare them down. All these doggone federal workers out there, all of them. What have they ever done for us? What has the federal workforce, what has it done? You a park ranger? I don't see a bunch of black folks as park rangers. I see a bunch of paper pushers who slow things down and create a bureaucracy, and they tell black people no every step that every step of the way. You try to get a small business loan as a black entrepreneur. The answer, no. Try getting a federal grant for assistance for black communities. The answer, no. Try to, look, these are the same people that tell immigrants yes and tell your black butt no. Is that really our friend? With your tax dollars. Now go try to ask the government to fix infrastructure in the black neighborhood. You wonder why your community is so damn raggedy, street raggedy? The answer is, what do they say? We'll get to it. And they never do. Somehow, though, we're supposed to cry over jobs being cut for these bureaucrats who've done nothing for us. I'm just saying, my interest is not in that. If you're a federal worker, I get it. But as far as a general black person, normal black people, we don't care about that either. We are tired of being used. That's what I need y'all to understand. The reason that shout out to Cody Marshall, the reason that black folks are on the Trump train, okay, is because we're tired of being used. It's real simple. And you're not going to get us to go back to being used. And it doesn't matter how much you all cuss and complain, we're not doing it for years. And so now this whole system is being dismantled, and we not sad. And they want us to be sad about it. We just not sad. Even if you voted for Kamala, you ain't sad. You like, all right. These corrupt institutions that have terrorized us for generations are finally being cleaned out. And the agents that spied on us, arrested us, and assassinated us are being gutted. The bureaucrats who slowed us down and blocked our progress are losing their jobs. And we watching, and we waiting, and we resting, because this time we're not coming to save them. Shout out to everybody who came through. This is Uncle D. I love y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed my rose. I feel great. I feel great. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for all the people who contributed to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. If you didn't, that's fine. You know, if you learned something, I earned something, I'm very appreciative about that. I'm just happy to have all y'all here. Okay? Now, that being the case, this is Uncle D, and as I always say at this time, I am out.
DennisSpurling got the mic on fire.
Black father, I have black son.
Tune in, weekly feeling inspired. From the heart, real talking night. Every episode brings a light. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Always inside. In this podcast, joy takes flight. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's fair. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins.
Donation. I thought it was a class.
Hey man, I'll do what I do. You know that.
Your ass class, don't come over here. You tall black mother. Women up inside. I don't give a fuck about